What if I told you that there was a coin that you could stake with its native wallet for 20% passive staking? Today, on our comparison series, we are looking at Cosmos and Atom. We're going to dive into how it compares to Algorand and whether you should invest in it on today's Frugal VC. Hey, what's up, guys? Today we are looking at Cosmic. This is one of our comparison series videos, and basically we're going to look at Algorand and how it compares to Cosmos, which is another coin that I've held for quite some time. I've actually bought Cosmos and Algorand, actually Atom, I should say. I bought Atom and Algorand at the same time, and one has grown a lot more than the other, but also it was more expensive to start with. But I think percentage-wise, it increased quite a bit more in the bull market. And it's one of those coins I've held on to, I've staked. I didn't really dive into the ecosystem much until recently. And I learned that if you have the native wallet, you can actually earn more like 20%. Now, of course, nothing is ever as easy as just keeping it on Coinbase, but I've been trying to get stuff off of centralized exchanges as much as possible. So we're going to dive into all the facts and figures about Algorand versus Cosmos on today's episode. If you like these experiments, you like these videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel already, and like button so we can spread the word about crypto and show this stuff. Now, ordinarily, what I do on this channel, it's all about the experiment. We put a little money into things and we see how it goes. So everything I talk about on here, I put money into, unless it's some like really major news item that needs to be covered, like the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff. I didn't have any money on FTX. Feel their pain because I did have some money on Celsius, though, so something to keep in mind. And one little caveat before we start this video, I don't do these necessarily to say one is bad, one is good. The point of the comparison is mostly because I've done a lot of Algorand videos, and this is kind of a way of jumping off into other chains, because I do want to start covering more chains on the channel, more coins and projects, especially the stuff I'm into. So I don't want this to be solely Algorand. I still think Algorand is great. Technology is awesome, but there's other stuff out there too, and we want to explore that. Let's get into the numbers. I've got these. I always do this research beforehand. So Algorand, we talked about this as a fast, secure, pure proof of stake coin, which doesn't have any incentives for staking, or excuse me, for running nodes and stuff. Sounds like that might be changing recently. Very environmentally friendly and secure against quantum computers. Now, Cosmos, on the other hand, so I'm just going to read this right from Cosmos Network's very own webpage. Cosmos is an ever-expanding ecosystem of interoperable and sovereign blockchain apps and services built for a decentralized future. And that very thing is going to make them a little tough to compare, because they're not quite apples and oranges, but most of the time we're going to talk about Atom. So let's move on. So total coins, we have Algorand has 10 billion. I'm going to be very careful. I even had a B and an M switched around in my notes. 10 billion coins total. That's the total supply. 7.5 million thereabouts. Billion, did I say million? Billion circulating. Atom has 286 million roughly circulating supply, and there's no total supply. So that's something to keep in mind about Cosmos. Very different from Algorand and a lot of other coins. Some people say that is a flaw, but when we get into the price, well, we'll see. There's something about having the total supply kind of released on the front end versus having like a slow but steady supply release, I think makes a difference. But I'm not a tokenomics expert. I'm learning stuff, so keep that in mind. Cost of transaction, Algorand, very, very cheap. Way less than, I think it's 5/1000ths of a penny. It's incredibly cheap. And Atom's a little more expensive now. Transactions tend to be about a penny to, I've seen as high as 6. When you pull up your wallet and you do something on it, you actually can choose between the low or high version, so you can get faster speeds, I believe, for when you pay a little more, but it's between about a penny and 6 cents. So it's not free. You have to keep that in mind. If you want to stake and restake, you might be better off, especially at lower amounts. You might be better off waiting. Algorand is currently about max of 6,000 transactions per second. Improvements should be bringing that to 10,000 transactions per second soon, and Atom about 10,000 transactions per second, so they're about even there. Atom is a little faster in finality now. Algorand's gotten it down before to sub 4 seconds, but Atom is between 2 and 3 seconds. And I have to say, from having used like the Kepler wallet and done some stuff on Osmosis, I did get the sense that Atom was just a little bit faster, and that kind of confirms that. Algorand, number of nodes, Algorand has about 1,600 plus nodes, so the nodes are really growing up. Atom started with 175 and then was always meant to increase through governance. Supposed to be, according to Cosmos Scan, last time I looked, about 465 nodes now, so not quite as many nodes. And again, that's for Atom specifically. TVL, now this is where things get a little tricky. So I'm going to show you what I mean, because it's not quite, it's a little tough to compare, but here's what we're looking at here. Okay, this is where things get interesting, because if you look at if you just pull up chains, you have Ethereum, you have Tron, BSC, Polygon, blah, 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 blah. You get all the way down. There's Algorand at number 15. And then you have Osmosis right behind it. That's just Osmosis. So that's a DEX and automatic market maker on Cosmos. So that is not the whole ecosystem. So you don't just have Cosmos, because Cosmos is a whole ecosystem. So it's hard to, again, it makes it really hard to compare. So let's look at that number. We talk about Algorand right now. Yeah, right now Algorand at about 164.89 million TVL. Now that the coins has been growing, but the actual dollar amount has been going down because it's still dropped a lot since even last November, when we hit kind of all-time highs for TVL. But what we can do, we can search for Cosmos Hub, and then we see here now the total value locked here. It's 644,254. And I don't know what's going on here either. Something must have been taken out, because there's just an enormous drop all of a sudden in TVL. So I don't know how they were counting it. So, this is where it gets really confusing, because even looking this up before, you can see they have a listing for Osmosis, but not Cosmos as a whole. This is Cosmos as a whole, but I don't really understand what the thing down below here is. So basically it just gets, and this is staking with Staffy, and this is the whole thing. So really, really hard to compare TVL. Okay, so this one goes all the way back to last February, so almost a year ago. But the story was Cosmos ecosystem quietly surges to 17 billion in TVL and challenge to Ethereum layer 2s. This was supposed to be the Cosmos ecosystem banner. You're in a way it already is by itself. Terra, a blockchain built using the Cosmos SDK, is the number 3 ranking chain in total locked value at 17.32 billion, according to DeFi Llama. So, and now you saw that was changed recently to a much lower number. Again, it says really, really hard to. There's just a lot of, when it comes to Cosmos, determining something like TVL is really, really difficult, because there's a lot of different ways to dice it up. It's just a very different beast. What about price? Well, Algorand was about 22.5 cents last I looked, down to number 35 on the coin market cap rankings in terms of total market cap, whereas Atom currently about 11.91. Actually at number 20, so it's still a top 30 coin. A lot of comments lately about Algorand dropping in that rankings, and I can see that you should be concerned about that. That's not good. All right, so we're going to look at, no, I don't want to take your survey. Okay, let's look at, so I'm going to scroll down to, here's Cosmos, and I want to look at this overall. The all-time, so it launched around around $3, and when I bought it, it was right around this range, so it tended to be around $2-3. I know when I was buying them, and then we had, during the last bull run, I mean, we had it up to in the 40s, 44 actually, and I did sell and take some profits. Probably got back in around here, so I'm still down a little bit on my Atom overall. Well, I'm not, because I bought the bulk of it right in this range. And I was staking on Coinbase. Currently, you can get 5.5% or a little less. I can't remember now. But here's what I like to see is, like, even during this big drop, it didn't get back to its all-time low, whereas Algorand has gone back to some of those lows. So it's a little scary, but this is why I like. This is one of the things I like about it. Seems to work really well. Now let's look at staking. I want to show you this really. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to show you that, but I have it on my other computer. One of the things I like about staking is if you use the Kepler wallet, which is a really useful wallet, pretty easy to use. A lot of very similar to the Algorand things, but like a lot of wallets. Interesting that Algorand didn't go this route too. Be interesting to ask somebody in Algorand why they didn't, because I noticed a lot of the chains will use like these Chrome extension apps with a password and stuff, and it seemed to work pretty well. The Kepler wallet is the same, like it's basically a web app, but you also get the little Chrome extension. Obviously, I'm using Brave browser, not Chrome, but it works pretty well. You have to stake it with a validator. You do have to lock it up for a certain amount of time. I believe it was 14 days, if I recall right. It might have been 21. And you just kind of earn these passive staking rewards at 20%. Usually the validators will charge a fee like zero. One I'm using is 0%. The other one I'm using is 1%. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. A little bit different than Algorand, where it was just like hold it in your wallet and you automatically are staking, which was kind of fun, but we don't have that anymore. Now we have governance. So yeah, comparing the two, I mean, I'm a big fan of Atom. I've had it as long as I've had Algorand. Definitely haven't dived into the ecosystem as much as I have with Algorand, but if I got something where I can basically earn 20% consistently without doing anything, I didn't do, to have to do that, like there's not anything really to keep track of, or I don't have to compound anything. I mean, and it's a pretty steady coin. Basically I like Atom. I like its staking. I like the way it works. So I think it's a great coin to add to your bag. Now, what do you guys think about Atom? I'd love to hear your comments below. As always, if I got anything wrong, let me know. I always try to pin comments to the top so people can see the new information. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts, what you guys do. I was into the pools for a little while, but then I kind of got turned off to that because I like the fact that I can just it's just so much easier to just be able to stake and earn rewards. And so that's great. One thing I wish they had that Near has is the automatic restaking. That would be nice, but you can't have everything in life. So again, leave me a comment below. I'm sure diehard Atom fans will be like, you're talking about this or that and that. And that happens. So it seems to be the par for the course. These videos are always really popular, but there's always someone who's mad about something. So all right. I do try to answer all the comments, and make sure you leave comments, hit the like button, subscribe, all that. And remember, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. Get your stuff off of exchanges. Start using these wallets. I use it for a few things. I don't keep nothing on the exchanges, but the idea is to diversify and keep your stuff in multiple places so one thing doesn't kill you. I feel bad for the people who lost everything on FTX and Celsius and all this. And I lost some money, but it wasn't all my money because I'm really conscious of that. So, all right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Stay safe out there. And as always, I'm Frugal BC, and I'll see you in the future.